The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 184.
184.
What are we talking about?
This is when the universe doesn't have your back.
What's the deal with that?
Or does it just feel like?
Yeah, we'll talk that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, before we talk about that episode, anything you want to talk about from the reading episode we did last week?
Yes, last week we did readings by me, Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
So I had several feedback, but I'm just going to read a couple of these. The first one is from Amanda. I did a reading for her and her sister that had passed away. She says, "Oh, Samantha, my heart, I just listened to my reading. Okay, I'll be honest, I've listened to it a good 10 times now, and it honestly couldn't have come at a better time. The minute the words, 'my dear sister,' came out of your mouth, I lost it. I had a particularly rough day with my daughter and decided to go take a shower and listen to the podcast. I sat in the shower and cried and cried. I needed to hear that message more than you know. When you said she is going to have to reconnect with her biological parents, but not now, and how much my sister stressed, that was very important, and not until she was about 18. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of your mouth about that, because it was almost verbatim what my husband and I have told our daughter, and that is the one thing she actually has not fought us on as of yet. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for this very much needed reading. My spiritual awakening started a year ago when I had the breast cancer scare and found that penny that had a particularly meaningful date for me. You answered a question I had posted about that and told me to listen to the podcast titled Signs from the Universe. And that is when my spiritual awakening really began. I binge listened to episodes and found myself loudly saying, yes, yes, that has happened to me. Oh, so that is what that means. Everything was resonating so much and caused me to stop and really take in what I was hearing. Your podcast and readings I have gotten from you have been instrumental as well in healing and the awakening process, and I know without a doubt our paths were supposed to cross. It was fate. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You have a bigger impact on my life than I think you realize."
That's great.
Whew, that's hard to get through. Thank you. That was very sweet.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate that, and thank you for the feedback, and I'm glad that the reading resonated and that you were able to take some things from that for sure.
So cool.
Yeah. The next one is from Hillary, and Hillary was the one she submitted for her dog Goose, and he just wanted to know, she wanted to know what he wanted to tell people. So this was her response. She said, "Thank you very much for the reading and answering my question this week. You are incredible, and I just wanted to say how thankful I am for you, and I know others are too. Just thank you for everything you do. I had to laugh at Goose. You were so spot on. He's very busy working all day helping. Then when we get home, he doesn't even want to get up and go outside with his sisters. He doesn't want to leave the fireplace. Also, the fact that he brought up how we overreact over things like stepping on them, etc. He watches me and I do everything. When I step on a toe or accidentally kick one walking by, I stop and drop everything and profusely apologize. I already knew he read my mind, but that was just proof that he does. It's funny, people tell me all the time I lost my place because I had to switch. Let's see. People tell me all the time they think he reads their minds, and he does. I know he does, and I'm so lucky to have him. So thank you for that, Hillary. We really appreciate the feedback for sure. And then Hillary is also, we're going to answer 2 questions from her today.
Cool.
Because we got to talking a little bit about it, and she was talking about just how much she loves Goose and how special he is to her.
Nice.
So her first question was, how do you not spiral thinking about the death of a pet that's alive and well? I don't want to say I constantly worry about what my life will be like without him. I can feel the gut-wrenching feelings just thinking about it. I always try to deter my thoughts to something different, like that's not what I should be worrying about. Then I worry I might be manifesting his death. It's just think about it, but it creeps me in sometimes. And I totally understand what she's saying, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from working with so many people and their animals that they do the same thing too. And I don't know why we do this. I don't know why we want to focus on something that's negative instead of focusing on they're here right now. And I try and stop myself a lot sometimes when I catch myself doing that, and just like, okay, just enjoy the time that you have with them. But I think we do that. One reason is because they don't live as long as people do. Right. You know, so we know that they're going to pass. We know that it's not, you know, a ridiculously far amount of time in the future.
Right.
And so that, you know, has...
And some of us are just worrywarts as owners or parents of these pets, you know.
Some of us.
You are.
Yes, it's very hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard to be able to communicate with animals because it's just like having children, and they talk to you and they tell you what you need and what you've done wrong, and it's hard, you know, that when they're disappointed in you. We went to Santa Barbara a while back, and Zumi wasn't happy with our pet sitter choice because he likes to have his butt smacked. He's a Great Dane, and Great Danes, for whatever reason, they just love this. He just wants it patted, and it makes him happy, and she didn't do that one time. So we come home, and he's sitting there just glaring at me. I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he told me. Oh, God. So most people would have no clue what was going on in that situation. So that makes it harder for me. I do worry a lot, and I do have this same problem. And so when Hillary said this, it really, it struck home. And I do know that there's a lot of people that do this.
I can find myself doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have to get away from that thought.
Yeah. It's hard. It really is.
Because it's inevitable. We all know it. It's going to happen to all of us. So why... You know.
And we love them so much, and they love us so much. It's an unconditional love. So, of course, it's like, it's a love that you want to have forever. You don't want to let it go. So we just get stuck in that perception. And I worry about the same thing, too, about the manifesting of the death by thinking about it all the time. And this is a conversation that I have had with my mother about this, and she told me not to worry about that I'm not doing that the dogs are going to pass when they're supposed to pass, and not to worry about that. So I'll pass that one on to you. And then the other question that she had, if my phone wants to open, is, let's see, how do you interpret signs? I feel like I've been getting quite a few. I just can't figure out what's happening. Do you keep asking questions and signs to interpret things?
Well, I mean, I know from my experience in watching you and then kind of learning myself was if I wasn't sure what that sign meant, then I was to determine what that sign would mean. So I would set something. Okay, from now on, when I see that, it's going to be you know, my mother or my grandmother, something.
Right.
To that nature. So then I'm familiar.
Right.
But yeah, because often I'll say to you, what does this mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's like I see it all over the place. But a lot of it is, you know, well, it's inquiring, asking, but setting certain signs so you then will know.
Yep, absolutely. And a lot of times you just might not at first, like kind of what Danny's saying. You just have to set those, and it can make you go crazy over it in your head, you know, trying to figure it out. But don't overthink it, because they don't want us to overthink it. And we really can set these things ourselves. So if you see something and it makes you think of somebody or something, just say, I'm setting it for this or that. But don't let it stress you out. Like, I know there's a lot of people that they see the synchronicities, they see the signs, and it makes them think that there's some specific thing that they're missing, that somebody's trying to warn them about something. And from the years of doing this, I can tell you that's not what's happening here. No. They're trying to establish a language with us.
Yes, because I feel like it's not here today, gone tomorrow. They want us to know this is infinite. We're always here. We're going to be here tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So when those signs do just come randomly, there maybe isn't necessarily some pending message.
Right.
It's just, we're here. We're still here.
Or like this happened to us recently. Because there's things that we really don't know even why they happen to us, and we just kind of assume or whatever. But we were driving in the car and we were talking about somebody. And then their a song that relates to them came on the radio. And then we switched the song because we didn't want to hear the song that it was about them. But the song would have been on because we saw them at the stop sign. It would have been on as we saw them at the stop sign.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know what that means. Were we thinking about them and hearing that song because we were going to see them at the stop sign? Or did those three things together mean something that we haven't put together yet?
And it happened yesterday, except
Yeah.
the song was changed, and then Samantha had to run in the store, and these particular people were in the store.
Yeah, different people
Different
both times.
story, but yeah. But the same situation.
Same situation, yeah. Yeah, the song came on the radio and it was...
While we were discussing these particular
Yeah,
people.
and it was very reminiscent of the situation. And so, yeah, it was... And you just don't know. You don't know why a lot of times that those things happen. And I think one of the things that I do is I try and remember those situations so that the next time something similar comes up, I go, okay, what happened the last time? Was there something after or whatever? And it takes time to learn these signs and what they mean, and that some of them don't mean anything. It's just, it does.
Those particular situations sometimes come with this feeling. I would kind of compare it to like deja vu, where you feel like it's not coincidental.
Yep.
There's not, to me, there is no coincidence.
Yeah.
It's just what is the reason in particular.
Yep, absolutely. So I hope that answers your question,
Thanks, Hillary.
and thank you for the feedback as well.
Yeah.
Before I do my reading, I wanted to bring up a story, actually, because this episode is when the universe doesn't have your back. But something happened to us where the universe did have our back. And so I wanted to tell this story before the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So we had told you guys last week that we were going to Hawaii. And we did. And we are back,
Yay.
obviously.
It was awesome.
Yep. But while we were there, one of the things that we wanted to do was go snorkeling. And this house that we were staying in had access directly to the ocean. There was just a gate that you had to go through.
Yeah, it was real close, like 25 yards.
Yeah. So we thought, okay, we'll go down through this gate and go in there and go snorkeling. So we're at the gate and we're trying to get it open, and there's a groundskeeper that's there. And he starts talking to us, and he just came out of the blue. We told him we were going down there, and he said, watch out for the Vana. And my brother said, what's Vana again? And he said, oh, sea urchins, right? Okay. So long story short, he takes us down to the water. He shows us what these sea urchins are. And he's telling us over and over again that
this is going to make for a really bad day.
Yeah, if one of us steps on one of these, it's going to make for a really bad day. He kept saying that over and over, really bad day. So now that's like an inside joke. You know how you get your inside jokes that way? Really bad day. But, you know, the average person might just think that this was a coincidence, that this guy just showed us this and, you know, but Danny and I knew exactly what was going on. We knew that this guy was sent by the universe to show us
not the place to go in the water.
Not the place to go snorkeling. Find a better place.
I think I actually asked him, I said, can I just be honest with you? For a bunch of first timers, is this really the best place for us to be going?
Yeah.
And then he went on about some story of a gentleman that right where we were standing.
Yes. Right where we were
tried to get in, stepped on one, then fell over on another, and had these things all over him. And I was like, just envisioning.
Yeah.
I think you, like you said earlier,
the
one that it happens to, because you're going to try to get out there and show everybody this is perfectly safe and okay.
I'm the one that's always the go-getter. Let's do this,
the
guys.
Water first.
Always.
So luckily, this guy, and you know, we could have not struck up a conversation, said hello to him or anything, but in Hawaii, people are ridiculously friendly. It's
really
awesome.
Yeah.
So people just say hi, wave, smile. And that was just as we were walking by, the natural thing to do. And they were like, how you doing? And so he just started talking to us. That part about it was like he's trying to draw us in.
Right, absolutely.
He wants to share. There's some information that needs to be shared with us that's very important. So we should give this guy a few minutes of our time.
Yes.
You know? And we did. Like small talk, where you're from. And I think he said he moved there from Arizona in maybe the 80s or something and never went back.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but once he saw us headed that way to the gate, he was very informative.
Yes, he was. And we appreciate that very much.
Whoever you were.
This is the way that the universe gets involved, and you will never be able to really prove that and that's where people don't necessarily believe that this is how the universe gets involved. But we truly believe that either myself or Marina would have fallen in that Vana, and that was the night we were going to a luau, and it would have had really bad day, really bad trip.
Yeah.
So, thank you to that guy. He
But
was
we
an
ended up
angel.
going to another spot that was kind of not as risky, but sort of hard to see. So we ditched that area in general, went somewhere else, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, it really was. So, but that guy was an angel. So we really appreciated his help. But that's how the universe works sometimes. And even if it seems like it's inconvenient or whatever, listen to those things because there's a reason why they're telling you those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that story.
Cool.
Yeah. So then let's do a reading.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from Panapat. She said, these are Mango and Boba and me, Panapat, and they're her birds. They're lovebirds.
I saw a picture, I think, on Facebook of one of them.
Yeah. I've recently faced an uncertain situation where I may have to leave the country soon because I failed to continue in grad school. I plan to find an internship to buy time for applying to another school, probably only if my sponsor approves. Questions. Will I get a chance to stay here longer and just maybe move to somewhere else? If not, should I bring Mango and Boba back to my country with me? Do they want to? What do they like me to do, and what would they like me to do less? Thank you, Samantha. So let me talk to them. And you know what? I'm going to focus more on you with this because I think that this is more about you. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I'm not saying that you're manifesting this what's going on, but you're not attracting what you're supposed to be attracting. So the law of attraction is really, really, really real. And when you are constantly worrying or you are being negative or, just not really enjoying life, your vibration's low. There's a good way of putting it. That is usually when these things kind of happen, when the negative happens. So this is about perspective change. This is about, and we'll talk about this in the episode today, about allowing the universe to guide you where you're supposed to go. Not worrying so much about it, not worrying. If you're supposed to stay here, you will stay here. If you're not supposed to, then you won't. I don't feel like your time here is over, but I do feel like there will be a point where you will go back home and then you will come back here again later. If this time, which I think it might, and I don't mean to worry you about that. I'm not saying it's right now, but I think that this might come up where your birds, you'll have to make that decision of if you're going to take them back to your country or leave them here. And my opinion is that you should leave them here. They're very bonded to each other. They do enjoy your company and the life that you give them, but they are more bonded to each other. So as long as they have each other and they have somebody that's going to take good care of them, they're going to be just fine. So if you have a friend or somebody that might be interested or whatever, if that time comes, that's what I would suggest. That's a lot of flying for little birds. It's a lot of stress to put on a little bird's body like that. They don't know. I mean, of course, I could tell them what's going on, but still, it's like telling a child, okay, you're going to go on this airplane. It's going to make all these kinds of noises, and they're still going to stress about it because it's different and it feels different and all of that.
You can't tranquilize them like a dog.
No. So, yeah, that would be my suggestion for that. But I really feel like if you can change your perception of this, if you can look at this as the universe is trying to help me, just maybe not in the way that I expected it to help me, that's going to change how this is going to go. Because there is something that you're resisting. There is some kind of change here that you're resisting. And I also feel like procrastination is a part of the problem here. So think about these things going forward. I try and, work on the perception changes, not worrying so much, leaving it in the hands of the universe. Hopefully this episode will help a little bit with that. And then let me ask them, because you asked what would they like me to do more and what would they like me to do less. So they're showing me chewing on something, kind of looks like millet, or it looks like something long that they both can chew on together. It could be like a treat stick. They like those. They like the snacks and things like that. So they, of course, I mean, what animal isn't going to say they want more snacks, you know? But yeah, they like those. They like, I think it's millet. It looks like millet. And then what to do less? I think the only thing that, and this is coming from the green one, is that sometimes they don't want to be handled. Sometimes they just want to be left alone. So when you see that maybe they're resisting coming to you, just let them be. Because, you know, they're not always in the mood to be handled or whatever. So they'll let you know when they are, for sure. So that's what they're telling me. So I hope that helps you, Panda Pat.
Thanks,
really
Panda
do.
Pat.
Yeah, please let us know your feedback and how things go. So
Nice.
yay. So before I give my info, our info, I just wanted to say that my radio show started this last week.
It was cool.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you very much. So I hope
proud.
that some of you got a chance to listen to it, and it will air every Wednesday at 10 a.m. You go to voiceamerica.com and to the Empowerment Channel, and my show is called Beyond the Bridge with Samantha Jones, and it's a lot of fun so far.
Yeah.
This week, coming up, I'm going to have my sister on as a guest, and we're going to talk about how we were able to find each other after 40-something years, and how us finding each other has led to a new way of life for her.
Can you share the call-in number on here that people can call in?
Yes, I could if I had it.
I don't have it with me. We'll do that,
Yes,
though.
we will. We can do that.
I
'Cause, yes, you
promise
can call
next
in.
week we'll share the number you can call in if you'd like to be on the show.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because I did 2 readings on the show this last week, and
Right.
it was fun.
And
Yeah.
you will be doing that all along. So.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. So,
Yeah.
so yay! So there's the show, and then our info. You can find me at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com. To find us on social media for the podcast, search at Spiritual Joneses, or you can email us spiritualjoneses@gmail.com.
Yay.
And then for you,
For my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
yay!
And that's it.
Alrighty.
All right, then. Episode 184, When the Universe Doesn't Have Your Back. I think we're, first of all, using a tongue-in-cheek kind of reference for our
Yes.
title, a little bit of comedy. I think it's more of a perception point of view that we're trying to get at here, but
Yes.
good topic.
Yeah, I agree. It is really about perception. And that's why I said that at the beginning, that you can look at it as when the universe doesn't have your back,
Yeah.
or you can look at it as when it feels like the universe doesn't have your back. Because honestly, it always does.
Right.
But we are allowed free will.
Right.
So we're allowed to make our own decisions and our own choices. And the universe will do a lot of things to try and help us, kind of like the Vana story that we shared earlier.
Yeah.
But there's things that they can't do. And they have to allow us to make our own decisions.
Yep.
So, yeah. So let's see. So sometimes it feels like the universe doesn't have our back. Life may seem to be going along without any issues, and then wham, it's like the universe isn't helping anymore. Or you may feel like you never get what you want, even though you try hard, or no matter how hard you try, you feel like you just can't get ahead. I'm sure we've all experienced those things in our lives.
Oh, yeah.
That's nothing new. You may ask yourself during these times what you did to piss the universe off so bad. You try to be the best person you can be, the best spouse, the best employee, do your job the way you're supposed to in all places, but no matter what you do, you constantly get pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this, and a lot of reasons why we feel this way. But one of the ways that I try and look at it when I feel like the universe isn't having my back is like a video game. And I've talked about this before, how it's like getting a reward or opening another level. And so when we're going along and things aren't going our way, I tend to look at it as that's not the way to unlock the next stage. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're just going to get the same results. That's Einstein's definition of insanity.
Yeah.
You have to change up what you're doing, and then maybe that next level will open for you.
Kind of going back to that first question that we had earlier at the beginning about what do these signs mean, and talking about a general sort of language that's being developed, or just them showing their presence through these types of things. This is another area where I do notice either an influx or a lack thereof of signs at a particular time. And like, let's say if I'm not mentally like taking care of things that I should be taking care of mentally inside myself, or I'm not following this thing that I was doing, where during these times when I'm seeing a regular, constant influx of synchronicities, what many would say is coincidence, and I say it's not, those types of things. And then it can go quiet sometimes.
Yes.
That more has to do, again, with, am I looking for it, or am I preoccupied in my mind? That's what I mean by, like, there's things I need to take care of in my mind that are preoccupying me and not allowing me to be open to see it. Because it's really always there.
Yes.
But the fact that I look at a clock always and it's triple digits of the same number, you know, or quadruple digits of the same number, those kind of things, or different patterns that are constantly always there. And I'm not sitting staring at a clock. It's just, you know, you tap your phone at a certain time to check something, and there it is, 1:11.
Yep.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
And this happens all the time.
Yep.
Not necessarily just at 1:11, but so when I'm in those different periods of seasons of my life, I can see the universe much clearer than when I'm not doing those things.
Right. Definitely. So I asked our listeners, do you feel like when you're doing the best you can, do you ever feel like you're doing the best you can in life, but the universe just doesn't have your back? And 31% said yes, 15% said no, and 54% said occasionally. Diana said, I just think of it as I don't see the reason yet. And that does have a lot to do with it, that you don't understand why is this happening right now. Nancy said, occasionally, and then I remember it's for a reason, and I have to trust the universe and its plan. And that's exactly it. And that can be really, really hard, you know, to actually do that. That can be really hard.
Patience is a tough one.
Yes.
Because answers may not be revealed to you right away.
Yep.
It might take days, weeks, months, years.
Yep. Hillary said, for me, when I'm struggling with anything going on, I always try and think, is this a test, and why am I being tested? I get more frustrated at myself for not figuring it out sooner. I always feel like the universe has my back. I may even trust it too much, but in the frustrating instances, I try and think, why is this happening, and what is the lesson to be learned?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And sometimes I think that if people knew how much I asked myself, what is this trying to teach me? They'd probably go, you just are always in a test, aren't you?
Right.
But I do realize that every decision that I make affects the next decision.
We're all in that, whether we're aware of it or not. We're all. That's where I absolutely adore and lean on hindsight and retrospect, is because looking back, I can see that all of these have been really true lessons for me to learn from.
Absolutely, they have. Yep.
And I've learned.
Yeah, me too. A lot. And then Gina said, I feel as though I always make the wrong choice, always choosing the wrong door to go through. And that's tough because that can be in so many different areas. But usually, like, if you really think, what's the right way? Not necessarily what's the easiest way or what's the way I want to go, but what's the right way that I want to go? I have a story that I'll share about this last week that I felt like the universe didn't have my back, but actually it was doing me a favor. So Marina and I had tickets to see Lizzo last night. And we both had a really long week.
You guys bought these tickets a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Months and months when they first came on sale. And, you know, we just got back from Hawaii, and she's got some personal issues that she's dealing with. And I thought that I bought tickets for Saturday when I actually bought tickets for Friday. And if you know anything about the freeways in California, we have the 405 freeway, and you don't want to be on that freeway during the week, pretty much at any time, but especially after like 5
Monday
o'clock.
through Friday,
Yep.
5 o'clock. Nope.
You don't want to be on that freeway. It will literally take you an hour to just get a couple of miles.
Yeah.
So between all of these things, I felt like I don't really want to go. Like I didn't think she wanted to go. I felt like we were both just kind of forcing it. But I decided to just let the universe decide. If there's a reason why we're not supposed to go, then put something in our way. I didn't want to make that choice. I wanted to leave it up to the universe. But I really didn't want to go. I didn't want to drive that freeway. And I've been so tired and everything, and I knew she was too, you know? But we both did. We both, got dressed, dragged ourselves out, and we had a really good time.
Yeah.
But if I would have done what I wanted to do, I would have either given those tickets to her and a friend, or I would have sold them if she was, of course, depending on what she wanted to do. But the universe had different plans. It wanted us to go. They wanted us to enjoy ourselves, and we did. We had a good time. So even if something feels like it's not going the direction that you want it to go, or just go with it, because the universe always knows, and it will put something there. I've had many, many times where there may be something that I don't feel like it's the right time to do something or whatever, and the universe will put something in the path to stop it. Mm-hmm. But I know when it doesn't, that I'm just supposed to keep going.
Yeah.
Just go with whatever it wants me to do. So I want to read a couple of listener stories about when they feel like the universe hasn't had their back.
Cool.
This is from Sunshine. She said, when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was in an extremely abusive relationship. I hated it, but I couldn't get out of it. Everywhere I went, everything I tried, he was there. Relentless. I became hopeless and on the brink of giving up completely. I remember a specific memory of walking down the street in the snow, and I was so tired of it all, I yelled out to the sky in front of God and everyone for help getting me out of it, because I clearly couldn't do it on my own. It continued for a few more years, and I felt like I was ignored by God, the universe, and they just didn't care about me. So why should I care about me? It wasn't till he finally went to prison for what he did to me that I was able to get away. But that was a few years after I begged for help. Why wasn't the universe there for me when I asked? Why did I have to suffer so much more trauma first? I'm still a little upset about it, still figuring out what my lesson was and why I had to learn it in just a damaging, life-threatening way.
Right.
That's a very
heavy.
good, it's heavy, but I think that there's situations like this that happen to most people just in different ways. There's a traumatic event or something that happens, or they can't get out of something or whatever, and every situation is different.
Yeah.
I'm not there back with you those years when you were trying to get away. Maybe there was something else you could have done and you didn't do it. Maybe the universe was trying to show you that way, but you didn't see it. There's so many different things that could have been going on. Or maybe it was supposed to happen this way. Maybe he needed to go to jail and you were help putting him in jail.
Yeah.
Maybe, unfortunately, the abuse that you suffered is going to help you to help people in the future.
Right.
There's so many different reasons, and it's really hard to look at it like that. I understand.
It is, because it's like you want... I think we're feeling like unaccounted for at that point. Like, it's just okay to pick on me, I guess, and I get that, because we've all been there.
Yeah.
I relate to the shouting out, actually.
Me
like,
too.
Verbally shouting out at God. Like, when I was going through my divorce, I did that a couple times. Like, this has to...
I did too.
You have to find me a way, or it's going to be ugly.
Yep.
And I got that way.
Yep.
But here's another aspect to Sunshine that is possible, that maybe this is karma you paid from a previous life with this person, that maybe you were the abuser.
That's a very good point.
And I don't mean to say that, like you're a mean person, because I don't think you are at all. But these are things that the part about this experience that's so vast, we're not exactly sure why.
Right.
But we have to face it. Mm-hmm. We have to do it. Maybe part of the lesson was to see whether would you give up.
Yes. That too. There could be so many lessons wrapped up in this, but
Because
there always are.
Your prayer was answered.
It was. It just wasn't answered in the time
Right.
that you wanted it to be. And unfortunately, you had to suffer physically for that. But there's always a timeline. There's always a reason. And we can't push that timeline.
Right.
When I went through my divorce, it was the same kind of thing. I was asking, I need a way to be able to take care of myself, to be able to be on my own without having to worry, because when you're with somebody for so long, you don't know how you're going to do it on your own. And so
Right.
I kept, same thing, yelling, please, somebody give me away. And it happened. It took a couple of months, but my grandmother got sick, and then I came out here to take care of her and just ended up staying.
Yeah.
And that was my job for 7 years. But that had to happen in the timeline that it was supposed to happen. It wasn't in my timeline. I would have preferred it to happen a couple of months or years earlier, but it didn't. It happened in the universe's timeline.
Right.
And for a reason, for many reasons. So we definitely have to remember that when those things are happening, even in the really bad times. If somebody would have told me that after my mom died, this is happening for a reason, I would have been like, are you serious right now?
A lunge at you.
Yeah, seriously, do you like your face the way it is? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that type of person. But, you do. You have all those thoughts that go through your head. But I look back now and I see why it had to happen the way that it did. But that's retrospect, for sure. Let's read Nancy's story here.
Real quick,
Yes.
having traumatic events and tough seasons in our life is by no means the universe implying or actually turning its back on us.
No.
It's part of the experience. It's part of the karma. It's all wrapped up.
Yeah.
And some of it we are aware of, and some of it we have no idea why.
Yep. That's
But
absolutely right.
we will all learn why.
That's why we just sometimes have to go with it.
Yeah.
And just, if the universe is taking us in one direction or the other, just try and go with it the best that we can. Because it doesn't always make sense at the time. It usually doesn't.
Yeah.
But we usually, in retrospect, find out for sure. So let's read Nancy's story. She said, I was in a relationship with my now boyfriend, and it seemed like we couldn't get on track at the same time. He was in Florida, I was in Michigan, and vice versa. I remember saying to him that the universe is against our relationship. We broke up, he was upset, and I wasn't, and he said to me, you don't seem to be upset. And I said, I'm not, because I know we will be together one day. I knew he was the right guy at the wrong time. I had faith and trusted the universe. In that time apart, I continued to work on myself, and it seemed he did too. Keep in mind, we broke up and got back together 3 or 4 times in a 5-year span of time. The last time we got back together, I said, if it doesn't work this time, I'm done. We have been together now for 4 years, the longest stretch in our relationship, and it appears that there is no end in sight. The universe knew that although we both wanted to be ready, we weren't. And that's, again, the timeline. Yeah, if there's a reason why it's not happening, it's not lining up. We have talked in the past about how I was dating somebody else when Danny and I started dating, and the universe was pushing me towards Danny. And it was getting in the way of me seeing the other guy that I was dating. Mm-hmm. Like, his family came to town. They went on vacation. It was just one thing after the other, and every day was packed.
Yeah.
And by the time that I was able to see him again, I had lost those feelings. And that's what was supposed to happen. But at the time, it didn't really make sense. You just have to go with it and say, okay, there's a reason.
And we met 25 years before, not really knowing we would have any connection later on.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I think that happens to a lot of people that, you meet somebody and maybe it's just not the right time for you, but it's familiar and you come back to it. I have a lot of friends that have kind of reconnected with high school friends that,
right.
or first loves, whatever. So, and then I also asked our listeners, in your opinion, when it feels like the universe doesn't have your back, what is actually happening? And 47% said, I'm being given a test or taught some kind of lesson important to my journey. 32%, I'm being guided away from something that isn't meant for me. And 9% said, the universe really doesn't have my back. And then the other 9% said, the universe is saying no to whatever it is I don't want or am doing.
Yeah.
I always think that the universe has your back. Again, it's just in retrospect, or sometimes that you may never see it.
Yeah.
And that's okay because it's done its job. But there's always a reason, but it might not always be a lesson. It might be to steer you away from something that isn't meant for you. So
That's
many
another
reasons.
great reason that I think out of our own free will that we don't want to accept, So we keep pushing this particular issue or thing in our life that's not right, it's not good, and it's just resulting in bad things.
Yep.
But the free will is like, but no, this is what I want. I think we have this ability. I can really look inside and go, do I picture that little kid kicking and screaming, trying to get what he wants? If that's what I can picture, then I know that this probably isn't what I need.
Yes, absolutely.
But if I can look inside and see something that's calm, then then it's the opposite usually.
Yep, that's right. I've had relationships like that. There was one guy that I dated for a little while that I felt like I was really chasing. And the universe was really trying to keep me away from him. And then I found out that he not only had a girlfriend, but he had somebody else. So he had 3 women that he was seeing. And the universe was trying to keep me away from him. But I kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
Yeah.
And that's why they wanted me to stay away from him. And I just had to find out the hard way. And sometimes that's what has to happen. If you're not willing to listen to those signs now, if I were to go back to that point, I would do it over again and I would not even bother because I know that the universe was trying to push me away from him. But we have to be willing to see those things at the time, not wait for the retrospect. And that's hard, especially when it comes to relationships and knowing, when we're supposed to move on or when the person isn't for us or when they are. It's all just, it's scary.
Yeah.
So let's see. On that, Lori had said, the universe has its own table. What you are asking for may actually be on the way, but the timing is not up to us. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. And then Alicia said, as Garth Brooks says, thank God for unanswered prayers. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yep. That is.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like watch for what you pray for.
Yes.
Or, the unanswered prayers sometimes too.
Yes, absolutely. Those things that we didn't get that we thought we wanted so bad that it just wasn't, wasn't
It's
time
like looking back, I can realize, man, I really did listen to my intuition more than I thought. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't aware that that's kind of what was happening.
Yeah, totally. I think that a lot of people too, like in their career, I've done this, you want to jump forward. You want to go from A to Z without doing all of the other things in between. And it can be discouraging. But like, there's been a couple of reality shows that I applied for. I don't even know why I did. I just felt like the universe puts it in front of you. You should do it, right? And never got called back. And this was within like the first 2 or 3 years of all of this, of being a psychic and that. Looking back now, I realized I wasn't ready. And that's why the universe said, no, this isn't the opportunity for you. And honestly, I really didn't want to do camera. I wanted to do like mic. So the radio show was perfect.
Perfect.
But it wasn't, we had to do this podcast for me to get comfortable enough to do the radio show. Yeah. So it all has to evolve and we have to be patient and understand, like Lori was saying, that there's a timeline for everything.
And when you think about that period of time, too, you were kind of throwing yourself out there like, okay, I'll try this, I'll do that.
Yes.
But you hadn't really determined. I think it took some time with doing more readings, maybe, that you realized I'd really rather just kind of be behind a microphone than I would, camera, per se. And so they have to sort of, okay, plan's been rerouted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we finally have a definitive answer as to what they want.
Right.
So now we have to make that happen, but our patience wants it right then.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so, but you got exactly what it was you were desiring.
Yes.
Just in that general area.
And I didn't manifest a radio show. I didn't. I just manifested a way to be able to get my voice out to help more people. And that's the way that they brought it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And appreciate that it's not in front of the camera.
And that took steps. And you could see it now, like with your mom with talking to your mom and her suggesting you guys should do this podcast. Well, chances are if we hadn't done this, you wouldn't be being approached by a radio
Absolutely
network.
That's where they found us. Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's that intuition of listening. Okay, even as much as I don't really want to do this.
We didn't want to do it. We really didn't.
We listened.
Yep, we did. And so glad.
So you're reaping the fruits of your labor and having your prayers answered at the same time.
Exactly. But it wasn't easy. And it wasn't the path that I thought I was going to be taking. And I just had to trust the universe to guide. And that's what we all have to do. And that's why, I like to share our stories, because if I have to be the example, I will be, and show people that you can have anything that you want. You just have to work for it. And you have to let the universe guide you where you're supposed to go and not resist the changes and all of that. And because change is uncomfortable, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. People just, no, I don't want to do it. It's uncomfortable. Yeah, it is. This whole thing has been uncomfortable, but I know that every day I get more and more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and like the listener, I don't remember who's just said about the timetable, remembering it's not on your timetable.
Yeah, that was Lori.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, it isn't. It really isn't. And because I think we always feel like we're rushing, like we're running out of time. And so we have to get this done right now, but that's not the case.
No.
There is a
especially
timeline.
when I, for me, coming to the realization that I come back and do this as many times as I want.
Yes.
So I'm not running out of time.
Right. But look at it this way, okay? As far as relationships go, you and I, we went through divorces around the same time. But if those divorces wouldn't have happened at the time that they did, we wouldn't have both been single at the same time.
No.
If I wouldn't have left a bad relationship that I was in between, we wouldn't be together. There's all these things that the universe had to make happen in order to make this happen. And I think you guys can see that the universe brought us together for many reasons. One of them is to help everybody, and we're a team and do that. And but it had to do all of these steps to get us there. It just takes time and uncomfortableness a lot of the times too. So how do we let the universe control a little bit more? We relinquish that control and understand that they, are helping us. Well, each day we need to make a choice about how we're going to live that day. If you can get in the mindset of believing that the universe will always have your back, life will go smoother. It just will. We, in our Hawaii trip, I had an experience like this where I was trying to check us in on the app and it wouldn't let me check in. And that was weird, because one of Marina's friends went with us and we bought their ticket later. And so that was kind of an issue, because I was worried, if we can't all be on this same flight together. So my brother left a little bit earlier. So I went to the airport with him and checked in. And I told the lady I'm having an issue checking in. And the look on her face was like, uh-oh, like she had to tell me something, like I wasn't going to get on this flight. And she said, your tickets had been exchanged, because we were originally supposed to go in March. And I said, yeah, they were exchanged, but this has all been taken care of. She took my driver's license and the confirmation number and was like, I'll be right back. And for 15 minutes, I stood there waiting for her to come back. And I was a total stress case. But you know what I did tell myself during that is, if we are not supposed to be on this flight, we won't be on this flight.
Yeah.
Because all those things start going through your head. Where are we going to stay? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? How's this going to work? But then I said to myself, it's okay. Those things will work themselves out. If we are not supposed to be on this flight, we won't be. Yeah. That's how the universe helps us. Now, we were on the flight. I still have no clue what that was about. Sometimes there's just glitches in the matrix and things happen. But it definitely made me think about, okay, I'm not going to, go overboard here. Not going to get upset in front of this lady. Although when she told me, here's your tickets, I almost started crying. I was like, thank you. Because I really want to go home.
Like Clark Griswold.
Yeah, seriously. But, if she would have said, we can't get you on this flight, I would have said, this is going to suck, but okay. There's a reason. It was really, really windy that day, too. I was like, are they trying to keep us off that plane? But, it all turned out fine. But we just never know. You just never know. So you have to kind of go with whatever happens.
You do.
Yeah. For sure.
Allow yourself to be a little more flexible.
Yes.
If you want the help.
Yes. That's very true. You have to be flexible. Yep. And you have to think about how much you've already been through in your life, too.
Yeah.
We've all been through so many things. And like, I think when we get to, a major, a bump or something, this is the end of the world. This is the worst thing of it. But you've experienced so many things in your life already, and you've made it through all of those things that you have to remind yourself in those bad times that things will get better.
Yeah.
And the universe does have your back.
Yeah.
And that you've grown through a lot too. I heard this guy on the radio. I meant to look what his name was. Heard him on the radio, and he was talking about grief, and he has a really calming voice. He's written a lot of books about grief, and I just loved how calm his voice was. But he started talking about PTSD, and he said, after PTSD comes post-traumatic growth. You have to let go of that, what you're holding on to, and grow from it. And that's so true.
Yeah.
The things that have happened to us in the past that might affect us now, make us think, we have things going forward, that we have to grow from that post-traumatic stress. And I absolutely loved that.
Makes
that
a lot of sense.
Yep. When you get down and think that the universe doesn't have your back, just try and be understanding and patient. What's meant for you will come at the time it's supposed to. It just will. You must also remember we are here to learn, and the universe is merely our guide. We ultimately make our own decisions, and we can't blame the universe. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
We can't blame the universe when something doesn't go our way.
Yeah.
There's times, too, where these things don't fit into maybe your story. I want to tell my sister's story about what just happened to her, because sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Yeah.
They just do, and you can't figure out why.
Yeah.
So my sister came here to take care of the dogs while we were in Hawaii, and because I'm, like Danny has said, a worrywart and a total freak about my dogs, and I want to go on vacation and be happy. So I will, bring the person that I feel the most comfortable for my dogs to be with. So she came here, and everything went great. But unfortunately, while she was gone, her dog got into the trash and ate 100 tortillas. He got the tortillas off the counter. But in the trash were some chicken bones and God knows what else. He has been sick since then. And there's been a few times where she thought that he was going to die. And she said the same thing, that she was yelling at the universe. Why is this happening? I went and took care of my sister's dogs, and I did a nice thing, and now I come home and one of my dogs is sick. Why does that happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe in retrospect, years from now, I can. I don't know. Maybe there's just something there. Maybe it was going to happen anyways. Maybe it would have happened even if Amanda was home, that he would have gotten a hold of those things. We don't know. But it's not the universe's fault, because we have free will. And he got into the trash. And, that's where the prevention should have started, I guess, or whatever. But that's what happens. Can't blame the universe.
And regardless of the what, when, where, why, there is something learned.
Yes.
From it.
Yes.
Even if you can't put a reason as to why it happened, you did learn something.
Yes, absolutely. There's always a lesson. But these things happen, and they happen to all of us. Not obviously the same kinds of things,
Right.
but we all have those moments where we're like, what?
Yeah.
What just happened? And that's life, unfortunately. And it's not the universe trying to beat us up or make us feel bad or, make us feel like we've done something wrong or whatever. There is karma. This wasn't her paying back karma. It wasn't. But sometimes we have to pay karma back. So we have to think about that too. Did I do something wrong that caused this to happen? Okay, then I need to just take my karma. That kind of thing. But it's not the universe trying to not help us. They want to help us. They want to be on our side. They are on our side always. We just have to listen. That's all. And trust and go with what they're trying to show us.
I agree.
Yep. So there we have it.
Very good.
Yay.
Good job.
Thank you. You too. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
And great job on the radio show this week, too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Like I said, next week we'll share that number that you guys can call in whenever you want.
Yeah.
During the episodes and talk to Samantha.
And thank you. I received so many messages like afterwards saying, oh, you did so well, or, the similar things to like what Hillary and Amanda were saying at the beginning. And I appreciate it so much. Like, you guys are so supportive, and I couldn't ask for a better support team from Danny, from my family, from all of you guys. It's just been amazing. So thank you all.
Very cool.
Yay.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you'll have to check that out
Yes.
next week.
Do it.
Yep. So I'll give you my info while we're
do
doing
it.
that. Okay. So the radio show, again, you can find it online. It's voiceamerica.com on the Empowerment Channel, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Wednesdays. Now, it is on demand as well, and I share that on the podcast page as well. So you should be able to find it there or at SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com.
Yes.
And that's my website. And if you'd like to set an appointment, you can do that there. And if you want to find us at Spiritual Joneses or email us spiritualjoneses@gmail.com.
Very good.
And you, sir.
Yes, for my art again, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And one thing I wanted to share, which I didn't last week, we did add the theme music to Samantha's new radio show, and I forgot to give credit to a couple people. One was Sean Davis, who played the bass on that song for me. The guy's incredible.
Yes,
totally
thank
cool
you,
guy.
Sean.
I love him. And then the gentleman that mixed and produced it for me was Jason Orm.
Thank you, Jason.
Great job, Jason. Longtime friend. He is also the guitar player for Alanis Morissette and has worked with like Sarah McLachlan and quite a few other people. But anyways, really good. Guy's really talented.
Yes, I'm very honored to have all three of you working on that song for me. That was fabulous.
So thank you guys.
Yes.
Appreciate that. I forgot to mention you last week. Sorry.
Yes, thank all of you, all three of you. I appreciate the music. It's fabulous. It's exactly what I wanted.
Cool.
So,
I'm glad you like it.
Thank you.
Anyways, and I was going to mention this too, that we have been wrapping up. We've been working on songs that, our band had been recording throughout the last few years, and I'd like to start sharing some of those and just play them at the end. So I think maybe starting next week, one at the end of each episode, and I'll just share each one so you can kind of hear what I had been doing.
That would be cool.
That I've been talking about.
Yeah, love it.
Even though it's not like really officially a band per se, but the songs are there and they should be shared and heard.
They should.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyways, that's it for me.
Hey.
We hope that everybody got something out of this week.
That we do.
And don't forget, that's just a myth that the universe doesn't have your back. It really does.
It does.
Just believe and look for the signs.
Yes.
And we hope everybody has a great week.
That we do.
And until next week.
Peace and love.